transfer talk, right? Now, the
Yeah.
quarterback situation for Oklahoma, for all intents and purposes, you're going to have a QB battle. And you would assume that Austin Kendall is the leader for that job, but Jalen Hurts, hasn't even put his name in the transfer portal, but he's also being talked about as a guy who could transfer to Maryland or Oklahoma or who knows what, because his name's not in the portal.
Yeah.
And then there's Justin Fields, who's put his name in the portal and is going to probably transfer unless something drastic happens at Georgia.
Mhm.
And this is a guy who's been linked to Ohio State and Oklahoma. So, real quick, who do you think is the starter for Oklahoma next season?
Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
Yeah, that's who I feel is going to be the starter.
wow.
If he does in fact transfer to Oklahoma, I think he'd be the starter
Okay.
because, and I've reported on this on at OUinsider.com. It's just the stuff that I'm hearing is that the chances of him being at Oklahoma seem to be getting increasingly better as the days go on. Now, if Oklahoma, it's not a done deal. Okay, so don't read me wrong, people, because I think Mike Locksley at Maryland, the offensive coordinator at Alabama, is going to have some say in it. But I think his dad would like him at Oklahoma, and he's a high school football coach down in the Houston area, head football coach. So it's not like it probably hasn't been talked about through back channels, I'm sure. And I think that it's just one of those things where just how they've handled the rest of the situation is with class. They're just going to wait until after the season's over to put out, because why be a distraction for the team when they can just go ahead and handle things probably behind the scenes a little bit and go ahead and kind of lock down where they want to go, or at least pick their choices of where they want to visit real quick and make them a day or two visits each, and then sign where they want to go. Or if he wants to sit behind Tua, go for it. I think that comes to play. Now the shocking thing would be is if he goes out there and wins a national title for him this year because Tua's not healthy. I mean, there would be a competition then, but does he want to go through another competition? Or does he want to go to a place where he's going to walk in, be the starter, and have the athletes around him to possibly challenge for a national title? And that's Oklahoma. Now, I know you and I talked about off the air about some of the stuff with Austin Kendall, and there is a growing kind of, there's growing talk.
Let me throw this in there. When they were both being recruited in 2016, the guy who was a spot above Jalen Hurts in the recruiting rankings is Austin Kendall. And that's a guy who averaged 300 yards passing a game in high school.
Yeah.
He ain't the scrub that a lot of people want to make him out to be.
No, he's really good.
And
that's
just
what
because
everybody needs to realize.
people didn't want to necessarily anoint him because Kyler Murray was there, doesn't mean this dude is not plenty capable of winning the Heisman in 2019. And I guess
Tanner Mordecai is also another interesting aspect in all this, because that guy can flat out ball. And anybody that has any sort of connections inside that program will tell you, then everybody said, man, this guy's going to be a baller. The problem is Oklahoma's recruiting other ballers. So if Tanner Mordecai or Austin Kendall were at any other university outside of a select few, they would be the starters right now. I mean, they're that good.
And that's something you really have to think about if you're Austin Kendall.